honest review of Bitcoin Hyper. First, I'll say my philosophy is to observe other analysts and potentially agree with their analysis. There's many analysts to follow online, some free, some paid. The paid ones, some of them are still worth it, but there are also free ones. There are also lots of what they call moon boys who are just constantly bullish on Twitter, who potentially you don't want to follow. So I'm going to start a series where I give an honest review. And I'm starting with Bitcoin Hyper, who I have been following for a few years now. So he's joined in 2017 with this account on YouTube, 137k subscribers. He's also on Twitter. He also has a Discord, which is free to join, although you do have to sign up to an exchange and deposit, I think, a minimum of $100, which you keep in your control. You don't have to pay him anything, which indicates, like his group is free, which indicates he's actually making enough money trading, or potentially for YouTube, where he doesn't have to charge a subscription for his group. That could indicate that. All right, so we're going to go through his latest video.
Everyone, Bitcoin is pushing higher and even breaking through my Fibonacci price target. However,
so his last video, he said this could be a resistance. What he does is he maps out the resistance and support levels, tries to find confluence, and takes risk at particular confluence areas, and tries to get more than 1-to-1 risk to reward. So even if he loses 3 trades in a row, as long as he hits a few good ones where he risks 1 unit of risk and gains more than, say, 3 units of reward, he's profitable. So that's his kind of philosophy. All right, I'm going to skip through to the 1 minute 22.
but right now, first of all, let's actually zoom out on the daily time frame. We need to determine at what zone is Bitcoin trading at the moment, because we can right here go with the fixed range volume profile to literally measure the entire bottom price action. Bitcoin is now trying to see the acceptance back above the value area low and also above the point of control, the biggest volume cluster of the entire bottom price action. However, we need to right here be very, very objective. What are those levels right now meaning for Bitcoin? The point of control, at least as of right now, it is still being an area of resistance. This zone right here at $67,000 is the biggest volume cluster of the entire bottom price action. So definitely, if I would try to go with a long or a buying position right here, right now, I'm literally longing directly at the volume area of resistance. So clearly this plan right here, in my opinion, is not really the smartest one. If I'm going to look and fire another long or a buy trade, I'm going to go with one after potentially Bitcoin right here. This gets some kind of...
Okay, so volume profile, a valid indicator. Definitely one that you can look into. You can just search fixed range volume profile on YouTube, and there are heaps of people explaining it. Now we're going to go to 3 minutes and 15 seconds. By the way, I'm freestyling this. I'm not going to cut it up. I'm just going to post it as is and do it one time.
Back down. And the main reason for that is very simple. Not knowing if Bitcoin is right now at the resistance level or at the area of support. Simply right here, going with our Adler stochastic CG oscillator on the daily time frame. It does seem like we are still being in the overbought area.
Okay, so he likes to use this particular oscillator to give him an indication of whether there might be a pullback or we might be at a resistance point. I personally don't take too much notice of this one. The next point in his video I wanted to show you.
We're going to go right here on the daily time frame. You probably know that for the past few months we have been paying attention to the bearish Elliott wave count, and so far what we got right here is literally a textbook ABC correction. Why so? As you probably remember, we literally shorted the exact top with Bitcoin right here at approximately $81,400, and how was I able to predict this? Using Fibonacci time, measuring the first impulse right here, putting the third pivot. You can see 1-to-1 Fibonacci time level was hit hit exactly, and also trend-based Fibonacci extension from the low back towards the high, back towards the low. 1-to-1 level was hit beautifully. Also, if you go with the log scale, it was hit literally almost to the exact dollar accuracy. That is right to why we could potentially say Bitcoin finished some kind of an ABC correction exactly at this specific area.
All right, so with trading, price can go up or down. 50% chance flip a coin. However, you can use indicators, particularly if a majority of the herd are using, or the big whales are using those indicators. Price will flow with those support and resistance. So you need to try and find an edge as to where you're placing your risk to reward. Instead of flipping a coin going it's going to be 50-50, you can say, right, because of this, this, and this is my thesis, it's going to go in this direction or that direction. And I can confirm he did call the top there, and he's been holding those trades all the way down from 82k to 60. The next point, 745.
Like later. Now, I want to focus more on a bearish scenario. So, how is a bearish scenario right now going to look like on the daily time frame? We could right now potentially say, if Bitcoin does continue higher, we are simply working on our second elite wave. After the second one is finished, we can then also expect another major push towards downside for the third one, then the fourth one, and then of course also the fifth elite wave. And probably right now you're wondering, what is the technical target of the second elite wave? Very simply, you need to go with Fibonacci retracement here. We go from the high back towards the low, and the minimum target we need to be paying attention to is simply the 0.5 Fibonacci retracement level. But to be honest, in my opinion, this level right here is really not a major price target. I would much rather pay attention towards the golden Fibonacci ratio right here, or even better, if Bitcoin does go slightly higher and also hits our daily level and also the monthly level at approximately 77,000 US dollar area.
Okay, so see how he's saying, like, here's a scenario, here's another scenario, it could do this, it could do that. That's because he has a plan for each scenario. If price hits this level, I will short and I will take a risk, 1 unit of risk, and try and make more than 2 units of reward. So he's not saying this is what's going to happen. He's saying this is my plan if this happens, and then if this happens. So you're not trying to predict where it's going to go. You're just saying, right, if it comes here, I reckon it's a pretty good place to take a risk. Forward from that, he does recommend a trade.
You exactly why those targets right here are actually being very, very nice. Let's go right here also on the Bitcoin CME future chart, and what you're right now going to see. Not only one CME gap is going to be at 75,000, slightly higher at 78,000 US dollars. There is another CME gap right here on the Bitcoin chart. So that is why both of those levels, or should I say both of those CME gaps right here, are being and coming in very closely towards our very important price targets on Bitcoin, for the daily, for the monthly, for the value area high, and also for our golden Fibonacci ratio. So the question right now is, when potentially am I interested to fire another long or a buying position on Bitcoin? Because again, if we right now explode towards the upside, I am not involved in a long trade. I do remain in short positions, but again, if we are going to continue higher, simply I'm going to close down my short positions because Bitcoin is probably going to push even higher towards the upside. I'm going to look to fire a long position only if we are going to get a rejection back down approximately from the area where we are, and of course also hit the first support level on a low volume. If this is going to be the case, simply I'm going to look to fire another long position with a very clear, very simple invalidation level. And the question that you probably right now have, what is a first very nice support level we need to be paying attention to? Now first, let me show you something that was hit only a few hours ago. We go right here with our channel, we will connect both of our higher lows with a trend line, expanding this one towards this high, and you can now see Bitcoin technically it is right now also trading at the top of an S&E channel. So clearly we are being at some kind of an area of resistance, and if we right now get a rejection back down because we are at the resistance, because the Achlers on the daily it is also being in the overbought area, what is the first support level I'm right now paying attention to? So first things first, we can go right here with our fixed range volume profile, measuring the entire bottom price price action with volume, and here I would be paying attention towards the point of control, the biggest volume cluster, and also the value area high slightly higher at 64,500 US dollar area. And why are both of those levels right here so important? Simply because you will right now see. If we do right now apply our high term time frame levels on the chart, if you watched my yesterday's video, you probably already know that the daily and the weekly level are coming in exactly at the point of control. But
all right, so again, he's referencing a trade. He's saying this is what I will do at this level, and this is why I wouldn't do it at this level. So he's providing a lot of value in my view. I'm going to give him a rating of 9 out of 10, close to 10. Additionally, I said he has a Discord that only requires, like, that it's basically free to join, which is not an indicator that he's a profitable trader, but it could be an indicator, you know, he doesn't need money. He's pretty good at trading already. So yeah, he's providing free value in a Discord. He's providing free value on his YouTube. Yeah, I think he's worth following. But again, like I said, try and learn and understand the indicators that he's using. Maybe some will fit better for you. Maybe some won't. That'll be determined by your back testing. And observe him in action. Some of the indicators that he's referenced, volume profile, for example. I'll plug my Discord here. You can find it in my profile under links. So I have a section for education, and I just post the good YouTube videos on particular indicators and even quotes within some of these sections. So you can go through, I would study volume profile, I would study fair value gaps. If you're just starting out, I would go support and resistance. SMT is another concept you should know. Funding rates is an interesting one. You can paper trade on TradingView. Market structure is critical. And there is a new concept that I'm learning that is about spot versus perp buying analysis. And that's particularly useful on a Sunday heading into a market open on a Monday. If it's all perpetual buying and there's no actual spot buying, typically there's a big liquidation event to the opposite direction. All right, thanks for listening.